Chosen one, if you are hearing my voice, stop, do not scroll. And mentally, I need you to freeze. Stop begging God for the breakthrough. Stop chasing the money. Stop panic praying. Because you cannot chase what has already been delivered. God just showed me something about your immediate future. You have already won. The verdict is in. A shocking amount of financial release, a king's ransom, is hovering directly over your life right now. But here is the danger. You are acting like a soldier, still fighting a war that ended yesterday. The enemy knows he cannot stop the transfer, so he is trying to make you move, to panic, to act out of desperation, to run out of position just as the crown is being lowered. Your stillness right now is not laziness. It is the posture of a king receiving his coronation. If you run, you miss the delivery. If you sit, you rule. Listen to me closely. Do not let your mind wander for a single second, because by the end of this video, I am going to hand you the coronation protocol. I will give you the exact 7 forms of distraction the enemy will use to try and make you forfeit this wealth in the next 72 hours. And we are going to seal this transaction with a prayer that will lock this reality into your timeline. You cannot afford to miss a single step of this protocol. Everything you have suffered for depends on your ability to hold your ground right now. If you are ready to receive the inheritance that has been held up for generations, press the subscribe button right now. Do not just click it. Intend it. Let that action be your first act of alignment, signaling to the spirit realm that you are locking into this frequency and you are not moving until you receive what is yours. I know exactly what you are feeling right now, and it does not feel like a victory lap. It feels like a heart attack. I am speaking to the person who woke up at 3 a.m. this morning with a pressure in their chest so heavy it felt like a physical weight. Right now, even as I speak about blessings, your hands are cold, your stomach is in knots. You have checked your bank account or your email 3 times in the last 10 minutes, refreshing the screen, waiting for a sign, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are pacing the floor of your mind, looking for the disaster that usually follows the good news. You are asking yourself, if this is really a blessing, why do I feel like I am in danger? Why is my body screaming at me to run, to fix it, to force a door open, to call that person, to make something happen? Listen to me. You are not crazy, and you are not lacking in faith. What you are experiencing is a biological and spiritual condition called adrenaline addiction. Your nervous system has been at war for so long that it has rewired itself to survive in chaos. You have fought for your sanity. You have fought for your finances. And you have fought for your family for so years that your body does not know how to process peace. To a soldier who has lived in the trenches, silence does not feel like safety. Silence feels like an ambush. Your spirit is trying to enter the palace, but your body is trying to run back to the battlefield because the battlefield is the only place you know how to survive. This is exactly where the Israelites stood in Exodus chapter 14 verse 13. They had just been freed from Egypt. They had the promise. They were leaving slavery. But the moment they saw the Red Sea in front of them and the dust of Pharaoh's chariots behind them, they panicked. Their bodies remembered the whip of the slave master, and they screamed to Moses that they wanted to go back to Egypt. They preferred the slavery they knew over the freedom they did not understand. And Moses gave them a command that defied all human logic. He did not say fight. He did not say run. He did not say negotiate. He said, "Fear not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord." I need you to understand the power of that phrase, stand still. In the original Hebrew language, the word used there is Yatsib. It does not just mean to stop moving. It means to set yourself perfectly firm, to position yourself like a pillar that supports a roof, to take a stance so solid that nothing can push you over. Moses was telling them that the movement required for this next miracle was not horizontal running, but vertical grounding. He was saying that God is about to do something so supernatural that your human effort is not just useless, it is in the way. The reason your body is reacting so violently to this incoming blessing is because your nervous system is trying to protect you from a threat that no longer exists. You are feeling the phantom pains of old wars. You are vibrating at the frequency of survival when God is trying to tune you into the frequency of sovereignty. You are trying to survive the Red Sea, but God is preparing to part it. But here is the question you must ask yourself. You think you need to freeze and stand still because the enemy is hunting you. You think you need to hold your breath because there is a spiritual sniper in the bushes waiting to take you out if you make a wrong move. But what if I told you that you are wrong? What if I told you that there is no sniper? What if I told you that the reason you must not move has nothing to do with danger and everything to do with who you are about to become? Let's go deeper into this. Because your survival instinct is lying to you right now. You are convinced that the reason I am telling you to freeze is because you are in a high-stakes standoff with the enemy. Your mind is painting a picture of a spiritual sniper in the bushes, aiming a laser dot right between your eyes. You think that this financial breakthrough is the bait, and the moment you step out to claim it, the trap is going to snap shut. You are crouching in the spiritual trenches, covered in the mud of your past battles, holding your breath, waiting for the gunshot. You think this silence around you is the terrifying quiet before an ambush. You are telling yourself that if you make one wrong move, if you sign the wrong paper, if you trust the wrong person, or if you miss one divine signal, you are going to lose everything. You feel like a fugitive who has found a bag of money, but you are afraid to spend a dime of it because you think the police are watching. This is the sniper trap. It is a psychological prison that keeps you small, keeps you hidden, and keeps you poor. It tells you that safety requires invisibility. It tells you that the only way to survive is to keep your head down. You have spent years dodging bullets, navigating betrayals, and surviving crises. So now, even though the war is technically over, your body is still flinching at every shadow. You are afraid to celebrate, because every time you celebrated in the past, something bad happened immediately after. So you have learned to hold your joy hostage. You have learned to mute your excitement. You are standing perfectly still, not because you are peaceful, but because you are petrified. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are waiting for the sniper to fire. But I need you to listen to me very carefully, because I am about to shift your entire reality. I want you to close your eyes for a moment if you can, or just soften your gaze if you are driving, and imagine that muddy trench you are crouching in. Feel the dirt on your hands. Feel the cramping in your legs from hiding for so long. Now, I want you to watch as the scene dissolves. The mud is not mud, it is gold. The trench is not a hole in the ground. It is a high, vaulted ceiling. The dirt floor is turning into polished marble. You are not crouching because you are hiding from a sniper. You are seated on a high-back chair made of velvet and iron. Open your eyes. Do you see it? The reason you must not move is not because you are a target. The reason you must not move is because you are in the coronation room. The war is over. The enemy has been cleared from the perimeter. The silence you hear is not the silence of an ambush. It is the silence of reverence. It is the hush that falls over a throne room right before the crown is placed on the king's head. The reason you cannot run around, panic, or act out of desperation right now is simply a matter of physics. You cannot crown a moving head. If you are twitching with fear, the crown falls. If you are looking over your shoulder for an enemy that is not there, the mantle of authority cannot settle on your shoulders. This is the shift. You are not a refugee running from a war zone. You are royalty waiting for your inauguration. The shocking amount of money coming to you is not a supply drop for a desperate soldier. It is the treasury of the kingdom being opened for the new ruler. But as long as you act like a refugee, you cannot receive the resources of a king. Refugees hide, kings sit, refugees hoard. Kings steward, refugees run for the money. Kings wait for the money to be brought to them. This brings us to the core of your struggle, and to a verse you have heard 1,000 times, but never truly understood. Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still, and know that I am God. You have treated this verse like a soothing lullaby, a suggestion to be calm. But in the original Hebrew, the word used for be still is Rapha. And Rapha is not a gentle word, it is a military command. It literally means to drop your hands, to let go, to slacken your grip, to put down your weapon. Imagine a soldier gripping his sword so tight his knuckles are white, his muscles locked in a spasm of combat. The commander walks up and yells, Rapha, drop it. It means the battle is finished. You are still holding onto the steering wheel of your life with a death grip, trying to steer this financial breakthrough, trying to force it, trying to protect it. God is yelling, Rapha, let go. Drop your hands. Stop trying to manipulate the outcome. Stop trying to earn what has already been given. This is the fundamental difference between the spirit of a servant and the spirit of a king. A servant is always moving. A servant is anxious. A servant thinks that if they stop working, they stop eating. A servant chases the money because they believe the money is elusive. But a king sits. A king knows that his provision is guaranteed by his position, not his performance. When you go to a fine dining restaurant, who is the one moving the fastest? The waiter, the servant. Who is the one sitting perfectly still, enjoying the atmosphere? The guest of honor, the one being served. For years, you have been the waiter in your own life. You have hustled, you have grinded, you have served everyone else, and you have scrambled for crumbs. But the Lord is preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies. He is telling you to take off the apron and sit down at the head of the table. But you are so used to serving that you feel guilty sitting. You feel like if you do not get up and help, the food will not come. You feel like if you do not micromanage this money, it will disappear. That is the servant mindset sabotaging your coronation. You must understand that the stillness I am calling you to is an act of supreme authority. It is you telling the spirit realm that you trust your position. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you stop begging, you start commanding. The universe does not respond to your desperation. It responds to your vibration. And right now, by refusing to move, by refusing to panic, by refusing to run, you are vibrating at the frequency of a king. You are signaling that you are ready to wear the weight of glory. But here is the question that should be haunting you right now. If you are indeed a king or a queen in the spirit, and if this is indeed a coronation, then the provision coming to you cannot be small. A king does not get an allowance. A king gets a treasury. A king gets access to the vaults. So, if you are truly stepping into this identity, the amount of money heading your way cannot just be enough to pay your bills. It has to be enough to rule a territory. It has to be a number so large it shocks your nervous system. And there is a specific, legal reason why the amount is so staggering. It is not random. It is not luck. It is a calculated courtroom settlement that has been accruing interest for decades. Let me explain the theology of this shocking amount. You are sitting in the coronation room, and you need to understand the economics of the kingdom you are about to inherit. You are confused because your logical mind is trying to calculate this incoming wealth based on your current salary, your skills, or your business plan. You are looking at your bank account, seeing the negative numbers, and thinking that a blessing would be just enough to get you back to zero. You are thinking about relief. But God is not thinking about relief. He is thinking about restitution, and there is a massive theological difference between income and reparations. Income is what you earn from your labor. Reparations are what you are awarded from a lawsuit. Income is based on what you can do. Reparations are based on what was done to you. The shocking amount of money heading your way is not a paycheck. It is a settlement. The courts of heaven have been reviewing your case file for years. They have documented every thief that stole from you, every opportunity that was blocked, every year that was eaten by depression, and every relationship that drained your spirit. The verdict has been rendered, and the judge of the universe has enforced a divine law found in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 31. It states that if a thief is caught, he must pay back sevenfold, even if it costs him all the substance of his house. The enemy has been caught. The audit is complete, and the transaction you are waiting for is the sevenfold return of everything you lost. This brings us to the most misunderstood promise in the Bible. Joel chapter 2, verse 25. You have heard preachers quote it. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. It sounds poetic, but until you unpack the original Hebrew, you miss the legal power of this decree. The English word restore is too weak. It sounds like if someone stole your bicycle, they just bring the bicycle back. But in Hebrew, the word used here is shalom. It is the root word of shalom, which means peace. But shalom specifically means to make whole, to finish, to render, and to pay. In ancient law, shalom was not just about returning the stolen item. It was about making the victim better than they were before the theft occurred. It implies a penalty. It implies interest. It implies that the restoration must be so complete that there is no evidence the theft ever happened. So when God says, I will shalom the years, He is not saying He will give you back 2020 or 2021. Those years are gone. He is saying He will compress 20 years of blessing into 24 hours of favor. He is saying He is going to accelerate you so fast that you will overtake people who never suffered like you did. The shocking amount is shocking because it is a lump sum payment for decades of spiritual theft. You are sitting there asking, why me? You look at your debt, your credit score, and your mistakes, and you feel disqualified. You think God rewards perfection. But God does not pay you based on your resume. He pays you based on your capacity for suffering. In the kingdom economy, pain is a form of currency. Every tear you cried when no one was watching was recorded in a ledger. Psalm 56 says, God keeps your tears in a bottle. That is not just poetic imagery. That is liquid assets. Every night you stayed faithful when you wanted to quit was an investment. You thought you were breaking down, but you were actually digging a well. The deeper the pain carved you out, the more capacity you now have to hold the outpouring. The reason the amount is so large is because your suffering was so deep. A shallow cup can only hold a little water, but you have been hollowed out by trials. You have been expanded by betrayal. You have been stretched by delays. You thought the enemy was destroying you, but he was actually increasing your storage capacity. He was making you into a vessel capable of holding a billionaire's blessing. God could not release this flood while you were shallow. He had to wait until the digging was done. And now, the digging is done. The capacity is there. The legal paperwork is signed. The Shalom decree has been issued. I want you to visualize something with me right now. Do not close your eyes if you are driving. Just see it in your mind's eye. Imagine a massive, ancient courtroom. The gavel has just come down. The judge points to the defendant, the enemy who has tormented you, and points to the pile of stolen years, stolen health, and stolen finances. The judge speaks one word: Shalom. Watch as the enemy is forced to hand over the keys to the treasury. Feel the shift in the atmosphere from battle to payment. It is settled. If you receive this verdict, I want you to type the word Shalom in the comments. Do not type it as a wish. Type it as a receipt. Type it to signal to the spiritual realm that you accept the settlement. But listen to me, chosen one, because this is where the danger lies. We have established that the war is over. We have established that the money is legally yours. We have established that you are in the coronation room. But there is still one person standing in the doorway of the treasury, blocking you from walking in. It is not the devil. The devil has already been evicted by the court order. It is not your boss, your ex, or the economy. The person standing in the doorway, armed with doubt and sabotage, is you. There is a version of you that is terrified of this freedom, and if we do not confront that version right now, you will lock the door from the inside. Let us go to the darkest corner of the room now. I want you to lower your guard. We have talked about the enemy outside, the sniper, and the thief. But now we need to talk about the enemy inside. We need to talk about the part of you that is secretly terrified of this blessing. I know you have been praying for this breakthrough for years. You have fasted for it. You have cried for it. But if I were to manifest that shocking amount of money into your bank account right this second, a part of you would panic. Not with joy, but with dread. There is a whisper in the back of your mind that you refuse to speak out loud, but I hear it. It says, what if this money ruins me? What if I lose my connection with God? What if I become like the people I promised I would never be? What if my friends and family look at me differently? What if I am not smart enough to keep it, and I end up humiliating myself by losing it all? This is the shadow. This is the saboteur. And here is the uncomfortable truth that we must face right now. You are more comfortable with poverty than you are with wealth. I know that sounds offensive. You are shouting at the screen saying, "No, I hate being broke. I hate the struggle." But listen to your spirit. You hate the pain of poverty, yes, but you know the rules of poverty. You know how to survive on little. You know how to make miracles happen with $5. You know how to be the victim who overcomes. It is your identity. You are the survivor. You are the fighter. But who are you when the fight is over? Who are you when the bill is paid and there is still thousands left over? Who are you when you do not have to perform a miracle just to eat? That version of you is a stranger. And that is why you are afraid. You are standing at the threshold of a life where the struggle is no longer your identity, and that terrifies you because struggle has been your companion for so long. You have developed a struggle addiction. I want you to examine this feeling. Think about the last time you had a moment of total peace. No crisis, no looming deadline, no drama. Did you enjoy it? Or did you feel a sudden, itching anxiety? Did you find yourself waiting for something to break? Did you find yourself picking a fight with your spouse or creating a problem just so you could fix it? That is the withdrawal symptom of a chaos addict. Your nervous system has been running on the high-octane fuel of cortisol and stress for decades. Peace feels boring to you. Peace feels suspicious. And because wealth brings a certain kind of peace, a certain kind of quiet, your subconscious mind is trying to reject it. It is trying to sabotage the blessing so you can go back to the familiar chaos of the battlefield. You need to forgive yourself for this. It is not a sin. It is a survival mechanism. But it is a mechanism that will block the king's ransom if you do not dismantle it right now. You are afraid that money will corrupt you. You have seen what it does to others. You have seen the greed, the arrogance, the coldness, and you love God too much to let that happen to you. You are thinking, Lord, keep me humble, even if it means keeping me poor. But that prayer is a lie. That prayer is based on fear, not on trust. This brings us to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18. You know this verse. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. But you stop reading there. You think the power to get wealth is the gift. You think the money is the point. But read the rest of the sentence. That he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers. Do you hear that? The purpose of the wealth is not your luxury, it is his covenant. God does not give you power to get wealth so you can buy a better car, although that is a byproduct. He gives you power to get wealth so he can establish something on this earth through you. The wealth is not a toy for your amusement. It is a tool for his assignment. When you realize this, the pressure falls off. You do not have to worry about the money corrupting you because the money is not yours. You are just the treasurer. You are the covenant carrier. You are asking yourself, how do I know I will not fail? How do I know I will not turn into a monster? Here is the answer, and it should set you free completely. The fact that you are asking that question is the proof that you are safe. Monsters do not worry about becoming monsters. The arrogant do not worry about losing their humility. The corrupt do not lose sleep over their integrity. The very fact that you are tormented by the fear of losing God proves that your heart is pure enough to handle the gold. Your fear is not a disqualification, it is your credential. It shows that you value the giver more than the gift. So, I want you to do something with me right now. I want you to perform a mental exchange. In your mind's eye, I want you to see that heavy backpack of fear you are carrying, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of changing. Imagine taking it off your shoulders. It is heavy. It is full of old rocks. Now, set it down at the feet of the king, and in its place, imagine picking up a golden key. This key does not represent ownership. It represents stewardship. You are not the owner of this shocking amount. You are the manager. The pressure is not on you to be perfect. The pressure is on God to guide you. Take a deep breath and feel the lightness of that exchange. The saboteur has been silenced by the truth of the covenant. But do not get too comfortable. You might think that because we have silenced the internal enemy, the test is over. You might think that once the notification hits your phone and the money is in your hand, you have crossed the finish line. You are wrong. The arrival of the money is not the end of the test. It is the beginning of the real test. The wilderness tested your faith, but the palace will test something far more difficult. It will test your frequency. And there is a specific twist coming in the next chapter of your life that you are completely unprepared for. Here is the twist that you are completely unprepared for. You think the test is about whether you are good enough to earn this blessing. You think God is waiting to see if you work hard enough, pray long enough, or behave perfectly enough to release the funds. But that is the old test. That is the wilderness test. The kingdom test is completely different. The money has already been dispatched. It has left the treasury of heaven. It is currently in transit. The test is no longer about earning. The test is about signing. Imagine a courier standing at your door with a package worth billions. All you have to do is sign for it. But to sign your name legibly, your hand must be steady. If you are shaking with panic, if you are trembling with anxiety, or if you are running around the house distracted, you cannot put your signature on the paper. The courier cannot release the package to an unstable recipient. This is the test of frequency. The blessing requires a specific frequency to land. If you are vibrating at the frequency of chaos, drama, or fear, you become a moving target that the blessing cannot lock onto. This is why the enemy has changed his strategy. He knows he has lost the legal battle in the courts. He knows he cannot stop the shipment. So he has stopped attacking the money and started attacking your attention. His only goal now is to lower your frequency. He wants to drag you down from the high place of peace into the swamp of low-level distractions, so that when the delivery arrives, you are too busy fighting a meaningless battle to answer the door. To ensure you do not miss this moment, I am going to give you the 7 forms of distraction that the enemy will launch at you in the next 72 hours. This is your checklist. This is your intel. If you see these things happen, do not react. Do not engage. Just recognize them for what they are. They are attempts to shake your hand while you are trying to sign for your destiny. The first form is the false opportunity. Right before the king's ransom arrives, you will be offered a shortcut. It will look like a job offer that pays slightly more than what you make now, but requires you to work on Sundays or compromise your morals. It will look like a get-rich-quick scheme that a friend sends you. It will look like a way to fix your financial problems with your own hands. Do not touch it. It is a trap. The enemy wants you to settle for Ishmael so you forfeit Isaac. He wants you to tie up your time and energy in a good thing so you have no capacity left for the God thing. If you have to force it, if you have to hustle for it, it is not the coronation blessing. The second form is the emotional trigger. The enemy knows exactly who gets under your skin. Watch closely in the next few days. An ex-partner you haven't heard from in years will suddenly text you. A family member who knows exactly how to push your buttons will start an argument over nothing. A crisis will happen in your friend group that demands your immediate emotional involvement. This is not random. This is a frequency attack. The enemy wants to pull you down into anger, grief, or offense. He wants you vibrating at the level of trauma, so you cannot vibrate at the level of triumph. When this happens, mentally step back and say, I see you. I am not coming down. The third form is the unexpected bill. This is the most common tactic. Your car will break down. A fine will show up in the mail. An appliance will explode. It will be a small, annoying financial hit designed to make you panic. The enemy wants you to look at that $500 problem and forget about the $1 billion promise. He wants to trigger your scarcity mindset. He wants you to say, "See, I knew it. Nothing ever goes right for me." Do not take the bait. That broken car is not a sign of bad luck. It is a distraction to make you look at the floor instead of the sky. You must adopt the mindset of Nehemiah. In the Bible, when Nehemiah was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, his enemies tried everything to get him to stop. They mocked him, they threatened him, and then they tried to distract him. They sent messengers saying, "Come down to the valley and meet with us." They wanted to draw him away from his high work into a low fight. And Nehemiah 6 verse 3 gives you the ultimate response to every distraction coming your way. He said, "I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down." That is your mantra. When the false opportunity comes, say, "I cannot come down." When the emotional trigger tries to pull you into a fight, say, "I cannot come down." When the unexpected bill tries to make you panic, look at it and say, "I cannot come down." You are on the wall. You are high up in the spirit. Do not descend to the level of your problems. Maintaining your altitude is how you maintain your frequency. But listen to me, because the first 3 distractions are obvious. You can spot a bad job offer, a toxic ex, or a flat tire. But the 4th form of distraction is the most sophisticated trap in the enemy's arsenal. It does not look like an attack. It looks like a victory. It looks exactly like what you prayed for, but it is a hollow shell designed to trap you in a cycle of almost making it. And if you fall for this one, you will walk right past the real door. The 4th form of distraction is the most sophisticated trap in the enemy's arsenal because it does not look like an attack. It looks like a victory. It is called premature celebration. This is the Jericho shout before the walls have actually fallen. You get the email saying the loan is pre-approved, or you get the verbal confirmation of the contract, and your dopamine spikes. You immediately call your mother. You post a vague praise report on social media, or you go out and put a down payment on a car. You are releasing the energy of the breakthrough before the breakthrough has fully materialized in the physical realm. Listen to me clearly. In the spirit, there is a pressure required to birth a miracle. When you celebrate too soon, when you broadcast the news to people who do not have the capacity to hold it, you puncture the balloon. You leak the pressure. I have seen chosen ones lose 6-figure blessings at the 11th hour simply because they could not keep their mouths shut. The enemy tempts you to speak because he knows that if he can get you to announce it, he can abort it. Your silence is the incubator. Do not open the oven door while the cake is rising. Until the money is in the bank, until the ink is dry, until the keys are in your hand, you say nothing. You celebrate internally with God, but you present a stone face to the world. The 5th form is the doubt. But this is not normal doubt. This is intellectual sabotage. As the reality of the blessing gets closer, your logical mind will try to revolt. You will wake up in the middle of the night thinking, "This is too good to be true." You will start researching everything that could go wrong. You will convince yourself that you misheard God. This is the enemy trying to lower your frequency from faith to skepticism. He wants you to cancel the order yourself. When this happens, do not argue with the thoughts. Do not try to debate the devil. Just switch the channel. Observe the doubt without accepting it. Treat it like spam mail. Do not open it. Just delete it. The 6th form is the isolation. Now, I told you that you need solitude, but there is a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is you alone with God. Isolation is you alone with your thoughts. The enemy will try to make you feel so overwhelmed by the magnitude of what is coming that you cut everyone off, including God. You stop praying because you feel unworthy. You withdraw into a shell of depression or anxiety. You tell yourself that no one understands the pressure you are under. This is a dangerous place to be because a sheep separated from the shepherd is easy prey. You must stay connected to the source. You can disconnect from people, but you cannot disconnect from the presence. The 7th and final form is the pride. This is the subtle whisper that says, "Look what I manifested. Look how hard I prayed. Look how faithful I was." The moment you touch the glory, The moment you think this shocking amount is a reward for your performance rather than a gift of His grace, you disqualify yourself. You turn into Nebuchadnezzar. The money might still come, but without the grace to sustain it, it will destroy you. You must stay in a posture of total humility. You are not the source. You are the channel. You might be wondering if this is really that serious. You might be thinking, surely God won't withhold my blessing just because I got excited and told a friend, or just because I had a moment of doubt. Let me tell you a story about a man I counseled last year. Let's call him Michael. Michael was a chosen one, just like you. He had endured a 10-year wilderness of financial ruin. He received a prophetic word that a massive settlement from an old legal dispute was coming. He felt the shift. He knew it was done. But 3 days before the final signing, Michael got the draft agreement. He saw the number. It was life-changing. In his excitement, he went to a car dealership and test drove his dream car. He took a photo of the steering wheel and posted it on Instagram with the caption, "God is good, new season." He called his brother, a man who had always been jealous of him, and told him the exact amount. He moved. He left the posture of stillness. Within 24 hours, the other party in the lawsuit found a loophole. They claimed a breach of confidentiality because of something Michael had mentioned to his brother, who had leaked it to a third party. The settlement didn't just get delayed, it got cancelled. Michael lost everything at the 1-yard line. Not because the enemy was powerful, but because Michael leaked the pressure. He moved when he should have stood still. He treated a spiritual covert operation like a public parade. Do not let that be your story. Now, let me tell you a different story. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was facing foreclosure. She needed a miracle that defied logic. She received the instruction to be still. When the bank called her with a potential solution that looked like a trap, she didn't panic. She didn't argue. She went into her prayer closet and sat in silence. When a family member asked her how she was going to save the house, she simply said, "The Lord will provide," and changed the subject. She didn't complain, and she didn't premature celebrate. On the final day, a check arrived in the mail from an anonymous source. It was the exact amount needed to pay off the mortgage, plus the interest, plus enough to renovate the property. It was a shalom restoration. When I asked her what she did during those final 72 hours, she took me to 2 Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 17. She said, "I lived in this verse. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord." I want you to mentally underline the phrase, "set yourselves." In Hebrew, this implies taking a deliberate military formation. It means you lock your shields together. It means you dig your heels into the ground. It is an active, intense stillness. It is the refusal to flinch when the arrow is flying towards your face. Sarah didn't just do nothing. She did the hardest thing possible. She controlled her human impulse to interfere. She let God be God. And because she stood still, the salvation of the Lord had room to land. This is the proof. This is not just theory. The protocol of stillness works because it respects the laws of the spirit realm. It acknowledges that the battle is not yours, but God's. Michael tried to help God, and he failed. Sarah watched God work, and she won. You are standing at the exact same fork in the road. One path leads to a leak, the other leads to a flood. So, now you know the diagnosis. You know about the adrenaline addiction. You know about the sniper trap and the coronation room. You understand the theology of the shocking amount and the shalom restitution. You have confronted the saboteur within, and you are armed with the checklist of the 7 distractions. You have seen the casualties of moving too soon, and the victory of standing your ground. But knowledge alone will not save you in the next 3 days. You need a plan. You need a step-by-step instruction manual on exactly what to do when you wake up tomorrow morning. You need to know how to navigate the silence. You need to know exactly what to say when people ask you questions. You need to know how to prepare your physical vessel to hold this weight of glory without cracking. You are ready for the final piece of the puzzle. I am going to give you the coronation protocol. So here is the protocol. This is not a suggestion. This is not a rough guideline. This is a mandatory spiritual operating procedure for the next 72 hours of your life. If you want to hold the weight of the blessing that is coming, you must build the structure to support it right now. You might be thinking that stillness means doing nothing. You might be picturing a monk sitting on a mountain, completely passive. That is not what I am talking about. I am talking about active stillness. Think of a goalkeeper in a penalty shootout. He is not moving his feet, but every muscle in his body is coiled. His eyes are locked on the ball. His mind is calculating the trajectory. He is motionless, but he is the most active person on the field. That is your posture. You are bracing for impact. You are creating a container that is strong enough to hold the wine without bursting the wineskin. Step 1 of the coronation protocol is the 3-day freeze. This is a non-negotiable rule. From the moment you receive the notification, the email, or the phone call confirming the transfer, you are to make absolutely no major financial decisions for exactly 72 hours, 3 days. Here is the science and the spirit behind this rule. Biologically, when a large sum of money or a massive breakthrough hits your life, your brain is flooded with dopamine. You enter a state of euphoria. In this state, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and long-term planning, essentially shuts down. You feel invincible. You feel generous. You feel impulsive. This is the danger zone. This is when lottery winners promise houses to their cousins. This is when people buy luxury cars they do not need. This is when you make promises you cannot keep. Spiritually, 3 days is the biblical timeline for resurrection and stabilization. Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days. Jonah was in the whale for 3 days. It takes 3 days for the old reality to die and the new reality to settle. During these 72 hours, you do not sign new contracts. You do not pay off anyone's debt. You do not quit your job. You do not even tithe yet. You let the money sit. You let the reality sink in. You let your nervous system regulate from the shock of the deposit. You simply look at it. You acknowledge it. You thank God for it, but you do not move it. You must prove to God that you can possess the blessing without being possessed by the urge to spend it. Step 2 is the vault silence. This addresses the question of who needs to know. The answer is almost no one. You need to sign an immediate, non-disclosure agreement with heaven. In the ancient world, kings had a vault, and only the treasurer and the king knew what was inside. If the guards knew, if the servants knew, if the public knew, the kingdom was at risk of invasion. You are going to face questions. People sense a shift in your spirit. They will ask, did something good happen? Or why are you smiling like that? You need a script. You need a way to deflect without lying, but without leaking. When someone asks about your situation, you simply say, I am just grateful for God's peace in this season. That is it. You do not mention the check. You do not mention the settlement. You do not mention the contract. If you have a spouse, obviously you must be in unity. But outside of that covenant bond, you must operate on a strict need-to-know basis. Remember, the enemy listens to your words to gauge your location. If you start broadcasting your coordinates, you invite the sniper back into the game. Your silence is your camouflage. It protects the seed while it is germinating. Step 3 is the vessel preparation. This answers the question, what do I do while I am waiting for the 3 days to pass? If I cannot spend it and I cannot talk about it, what do I do? You clean. You prepare the physical and spiritual atmosphere of your home to match the level of the guest that is arriving. There is a deep spiritual connection between the order of your physical environment and the flow of your financial blessing. Clutter is a physical manifestation of confusion. Dirt is a physical manifestation of stagnation. You cannot ask God to pour $1 billion blessing into a $10 mess. If your car is filled with trash, clean it. If your closet is chaotic, organize it. If your wallet is stuffed with old receipts and expired coupons, clear it out. I want you to do this with me right now, mentally. We are not going to move physically, but I want you to walk through your house in your mind. Close your eyes if it is safe to do so. Visualize your front door. Is the path clear, or is it blocked by obstacles? Walk into your living room. Look at the surfaces. Are they covered in dust and unpaid bills? Walk into your bedroom. Is it a sanctuary of rest, or is it a storage unit for stress? Identify one specific area in your mind right now that is cluttered. Maybe it is that junk drawer. Maybe it is the pile of papers on your desk. I want you to mentally designate that area as the first landing strip for your blessing. Make a covenant with yourself right now that as soon as this video is over, you will bring order to that chaos. When you clean that space, you are prophetically clearing the runway for the plane to land. You are telling God, I respect what you are sending me enough to prepare a place for it. This brings us to the scripture that anchors this entire protocol. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 15. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Let's unpack this deep. The word for returning here is shubah. It means to turn back to the original point. It implies a reset. The 3-day freeze is your shubah. It is you returning to your center before you move forward. The word for quietness is shakat. It means to be undisturbed, to be at peace when the world is loud. The vault silence is your shakat. And the promise is that in this quietness, you will find strength. The Hebrew word for strength used here is geburah. It does not just mean physical power. It means mastery. It means victory. It means the power to perform miracles. God is saying that your miracle-working power does not come from your hustle, your grinding, or your broadcasting. It comes from your ability to be quiet. It comes from your ability to hold the secret. It comes from your ability to prepare the vessel in silence. So here is the summary of your orders. For the next 72 hours, you are in a holding pattern. You are freezing your decisions to let your dopamine reset. You are sealing your lips to protect the vault. You are cleaning your environment to honor the guest. You are operating in active stillness. If you can do this, if you can hold this posture, you will not just receive the money. You will sustain it. You will multiply it. You will become a dynasty, not just a lottery winner. The vessel is being prepared. The mind is being sobered. The spirit is being quieted. Everything we have talked about in this video has led to this moment. We have diagnosed the fear. We have exposed the sniper trap. We have accepted the theology of restitution. We have silenced the saboteur. We have identified the distractions, and now we have established the protocol. The only thing left to do is to seal this in the courts of eternity. We need to take all of this teaching, all of this revelation, and lock it into your timeline with a prophetic seal that the enemy cannot break. We are going to go before the judge right now, not to ask for the money, but to sign for the delivery. Position yourself. The activation is about to begin. We have reached the final moment. The teaching is finished. The strategies have been laid out. The enemy has been exposed. Now, we move from information to activation. We are going to shift the atmosphere right now from a classroom to a courtroom. We are going to stand before the throne of grace and legally sign for the delivery of this shocking amount. I want you to shift your posture. If you can safely do so, I want you to sit up straight, spine erect, head high. If you are driving or lying down, I want you to do this in your spirit. Visualize yourself standing up from the muddy trench of survival and walking onto the marble floor of the coronation room. Feel the change in the air pressure. Feel the silence of the vault. You are no longer a beggar asking for crumbs. You are an heir waiting for the reading of the will. Take a deep breath in, holding it for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and release it slowly. With that breath, exhale the spirit of poverty. Exhale the adrenaline addiction. Exhale the need to hustle. And inhale the spirit of shalom. Inhale the peace of the finished work. Do not close this video. Do not scroll. This prayer is the signature on the check. Father, in the name that is above every name, I bring this chosen one before the high courts of heaven today. I present them not as a victim of their circumstances, but as a victor over their history. Lord, you have seen their tears. You have recorded their pain. You have counted the years the locust has eaten. You have watched them fight the battles of their bloodline, and you have seen them stand still when everything in them wanted to run. We come now to claim the verdict of Shalom. We do not ask for income. We demand restitution. We demand the sevenfold return of every dollar, every opportunity, and every ounce of peace that was stolen by the enemy. We declare that the debt is paid, the interest is calculated, and the transfer is released. I decree and declare over your life that the spirit of the saboteur is bound right now. We silence the voice of the internal enemy that whispers fear of success. We dismantle the poverty comfort zone. We break the addiction to struggle. I command your nervous system to align with the frequency of wealth. I command your heart to expand to the capacity of the kingdom. You will not self-destruct. You will not sabotage this blessing. You will hold it with clean hands and a pure heart. I seal the coronation protocol over your spirit. I declare that for the next 72 hours, you will walk in the power of the 3-day freeze. You will possess the discipline to stand still. I seal your lips with the wisdom of the vault silence. No weapon formed against your focus shall prosper. No distraction sent by the enemy shall lower your altitude. The false opportunity, the emotional trigger, the unexpected bill, they are null and void. You are on the wall, and you cannot come down. I prophesy that the shocking amount coming to you is not just money, it is ammunition, it is the resource for your assignment, it is the funding for your vision, it is the answer to the prayers of your ancestors. You are the breaker of the generational curse, and you are the builder of the generational dynasty. The days of scavenging are over. The days of stewardship have begun. Chosen one, do you receive this commission? Do not just listen. Engage your will. In your spirit, right now, I want you to say, I receive it. Say, I am ready. Say, I sign for it. Let the record show in the courts of heaven that on this day, at this hour, you stood your ground. You accepted the crown. You embraced the silence. The transaction is complete. The transfer is locked in. The angels have been dispatched to clear the path. Now, listen to me. When this video ends in a few seconds, do not click on another video. Do not scroll to the comments immediately. Do not rush back to the noise of the world. Sit in this silence. Let this word settle into your marrow. The next time you move as a king. The next time you speak as a ruler. The war is over. Your reign has begun. Go and walk in it.